Men who experience erectile dysfunction or impotence and females who experience infertility might have more in common than they realize. While penis and vagina are indeed different organs, most of other organs in females and males are actually pretty much the same. When it comes to human biochemistry, we often tend to assume that certain molecules or hormones are related only to females or males. But that's not the case. So, for example, men have estrogen just as women do, and females have testosterone. What makes them different is the concentration of these hormones. Another hormone associated often with females only is a hormone called prolactin, because it helps produce milk for breastfeeding. In the human body, there is a place called the hypothalamus right over here. This hypothalamus is sort of like a beginning for hormonal production. Hypothalamus produces a hormone called the DRH. That is the thyroid-releasing hormone. This thyroid-releasing hormone stimulates the pituitary gland over here. This is the pituitary gland. This was the hypothalamus. The pituitary gland is like a mediator between the hypothalamus and many other glands in the human body. This, what you can see here, is the sagittal section of the human brain, and therefore we can see these organs. Now, this pituitary gland, for example, produces a hormone called the thyroid stimulating hormone, that is the TSH. The TSH then stimulates the thyroid gland, and the thyroid gland produces thyroid hormones, which in return then affect the hypothalamus. If the thyroid gland is very active, then the hypothalamus will produce less TRH, and therefore the pituitary gland will produce less of the TSH. So that's why the pituitary gland here is sort of like a mediator. This thyroid releasing hormone from the hypothalamus also does something that can cause both females and males to experience the sexual dysfunction. No matter how complicated human biochemistry is, and how different the genital organs of females and males appear to be, in millions and millions and billions of molecules and biochemical cycles, there is this one molecule, one hormone, that can cause sexual dysfunction for both females and males. Many people suffer from sexual dysfunction. So to help me reach more people and spread this information, please subscribe to this channel and like this video. And now let's explain how that one hormone can cause these issues in both females and males. But first, subscribe and like the video. Now, I have already mentioned that hormone, and that is the prolactin. It is produced by the pituitary gland, and that's why we have explained the pituitary gland. And its production is stimulated by the thyroid-releasing hormone from the hypothalamus. Further possible indications that something might be wrong are headaches and issues with field of sight and vision. Well, this can happen to young patients as well, and it can be horrifying experiencing sexual dysfunction as a young person. Something that cannot be easily noticed from the outside can ruin the patient's life from the inside. It can be devastating to the patient's mental health and future life prospects. Experiencing sexual dysfunction can be quite embarrassing for young adults. So they might wonder What is my partner going to think about it? Or am I going to lose my partner? Well, it can be embarrassing for elderly as well. And as if that wasn't enough, diagnosing the cause of these issues can be hard as well. Figuring out where the problem is can be quite challenging. So, for example, just performing an MRI or a CT scan of the pituitary gland might not always be helpful. And just measuring the concentration of prolactin in the blood can also sometimes reveal normal results. There are special procedures in endocrinology and stimulation and suppression tests that can be used. And here we have a test called the prolactin stimulation test. And that test also might reveal some pathological changes. And while a lot of people can assume that something is wrong because they had a surgery or a trauma or an injury in this region, this condition can be caused by very general things such as stress or a whole variety of medication commonly prescribed by doctors. Establishing a diagnosis and a treatment plan can be quite challenging, but it is possible, and it can and it should be done. A successful treatment of this condition depends a lot on whether the doctor is competent and professional enough. Both of you, doctors and patients, we have something for you. If you're a medical professional and you want to make videos like these, then go to Symptomsky.com. But if you're a patient and you're interested or you have more questions about sexual dysfunction, then go to Symptomsky.com/help/sexual-dysfunction.